In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own templates for visual menus. To give you an example of what a template is, when you create a new menu, first you give it a name, and then you choose a template, or the button layout of that particular menu. As you can see, there are a bunch of them that come with visual menus, but if you want to make your own, you can do it, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. To create a template of your own, you'll need to launch Qt Designer, which is a free program that ships with DAZ Studio, and it's found in the same directory on your hard drive as the DAZ Studio application. For example, on my Windows 10 default installation of DAZ Studio, I found Designer here. If you're on a Mac, you might find it here. Once you've launched Qt Designer, pull down File, New, and select Widget, which is the only one that will work. So be sure to select Widget, then hit Create. The first thing to do is to size the window to approximately what you'd like. And then you can begin to drag buttons over. As you drag the buttons around and release them, you'll notice that they snap to a grid, which makes it really easy to line up the buttons and space them perfectly. Be sure that what you pull over is the push button, because that's the only one that will work with visual menus. At this point, we could pull over more buttons, but sometimes it's easiest to start with just one and size it how you want it by either dragging around the handles like this, or we could do it numerically in the property editor, which is usually on the right-hand side of the screen. So for instance, if we wanted the button to have the same dimensions as the DAZ Studio content icons, we could set the width to 91 by 91 pixels. And if this geometry section is not visible, you may need to expand it by clicking on the little icon there. Now we can take this one button and hold down the Control key in our keyboard and drag to duplicate it. As you make your template, don't bother with renaming any of the buttons or the windows or anything for that matter. The only thing that's important to visual menus is the size and position of the buttons on the menu. I'll go ahead and erase this button so that we'll have something that's distinctive from the menus that already exist, and we'll be able to recognize it easier inside of once we import it into visual menus. Once you're satisfied with your menu, go ahead and save it. I'll save it to my desktop. I'll call it my first template. Now let's go back into DAZ Studio, and inside of Visual Menus Dashboard, I'll show you how to import the file that we just created. Click Edit Templates, New from .ui file, and select the file that we created. We'll give it a name, and it should appear here in the list. There it is. So the next time that we go to create a menu, we can select it, and it will be the basis of our menu. Here it is in the list. I'll double click it to open it, and we can begin to style it. I'll cycle through some presets here. Take that one, and we can begin to add actions to the buttons. I'm just picking random ones here for illustration purposes. And that's how you create templates for visual menus.